Hey guys, David here with another figure review, and this time it is Transformers Fall of Cybertron Autobot Jazz.
No. Can't find what you're looking for. BigBadToyStore.com. It's big, it's bad, it's a toy store. But more importantly, it has it all. From Transformer and Star Trek figures to Dark Knight collectibles and G.I. Joes. It has everything, complete with great customer service. It is the one stop to shop. BigBadToyStore.com. It's big, it's bad, it has it all. Click the link below and visit now.
Here we have Jazz. I'm just going to call him Jazz. I don't have to call him by his full name, Autobot Jazz, for whatever copyright issue Hasbro may be having with Takara. But I'm just going to call him Jazz. Here he is in his Cybertronian racer mode. Of course, they have to make something that resembles his alternate mode from G1, which was that of a race car. So they made him into a Cybertronian racer. And honestly, I really dig how he looks. I like the mold, I like the sculpt. I also like the various pieces of detail that they threw in, such as right here, you can see the internal parts of the vehicle as well as here in the front. I really like how they have separate pieces for the headlights and as well as the interior pieces inside there, separating it from this piece here, from the main piece in the front. I really like it because it gives a better sense of depth, if you will, and it just makes the figure look better in terms of detail. You got other bits of detail here at the top, a little bit right there, as well as the, I don't know what to properly call them, but I'm guessing they're exhaust pipes here, and just, you know, they really went all out when it comes to the little bits of detail, even for a deluxe class figure. And I also like how they retained the original color scheme to an extent. I like that the white clashes with the metallic blue here on the sides as well as here at the top, and it also has the red Autobot symbol here in the front. So I really like the color scheme, and overall it's a really good mold for his alternate mode. My one formal complaint, what is up with that? There's this huge gap over here in the back that completely reveals his hands here. And this isn't necessarily one of those cases where, oh, if I flip it on his underside, you can see the legs, but other than that, it's fine because you're gonna pose him like this anyway. No, even posing him like this, if you flip it around, you'll be able to see his hands. I don't like that. I don't know why there's this huge gap here in the back. I don't appreciate it. I wish there was a way. In fact, there's a peg right here. I don't know if this peg is some form of remnant from an old design or an old model prototype of the Autobot Jazz figure, but I think that maybe that peg could have been used to hold some form of panel, some form of piece that you can fold in to cover all this up. But as it is right now, I don't appreciate this gap here, completely showing off his hands. So I don't like that. But other than that, it's a really good mold. I feel like it's a really large Hot Wheels car, but a really good Hot Wheels car. The kind that you would really like to display him in this mode. Apart from that, he comes with his little gun here at the top. And the one thing that I can comment on with this gun is that it is detachable. You can remove it. But unlike, say, Optimus Prime from the same line from Fall of Cybertron, or even War for Cybertron to an extent, is that when it comes to these weapons that could be attached to their alternate mode by simply pegging it on top or something like that, they usually go about that far and they stick out. With Jazz, I really like it that his peg can actually go all the way down to where the gun almost seems like it's part of the vehicle mode. So I really like that. It's a nice little detail and it's not a huge deal, but I really like it. Other than that, there's not much else to say, so let's go ahead and transform him to his robot mode. First thing we're going to do is remove the gun, or pistol as it's properly called. Set it to the side. And next, basically we're just going to go ahead and take the back pieces here that have the back wheels and separate them from the main body, like so. And the same thing over here. And rotate it forwards, but not all the way. Then I'm going to reach underneath and take the legs here and rotate them forwards, and they kind of already separated. They're together at first initially, and that was kind of redundant, but but you're going to go ahead and separate the legs and rotate the feet forward. Like so. And there we have the legs. And the next few steps are kind of difficult to explain. They're not difficult to do. They're very simple, and it's actually kind of fun to do so. But it's kind of weird to explain. Basically, what you're gonna do is take this back piece here and kind of separate it and push it down a little bit, but not that far, because we have to do other stuff first in order to be able to push this all the way down. Basically, what we're gonna do is take this front half of the vehicle and move it all the way up like that. And then gonna take this piece that you can see right there moving about, and you're gonna basically break it in half and separate it and rotate it down. So basically this whole thing rotates up like that, and then you're gonna break it off and fold it down like so. And now you can take this piece and push it all the way down to reveal his head right there. And you can see it right there. And to reveal his head even more, you're going to take this back piece here and break it off in half as well. And this is going to pull this panel down, pulling his head all the way up. This too will also take these pieces here and rotate them forwards. And there's his head all the way up. And next, what you're going to do, basically as it is right now, these two pieces are going to be flapping in the wind. So what you got to do is attach them both to each other so that they clasp together, and that way they hold on to each other and they're not, very loose. And to do so, there are, let me see if I could, like I said, it's very difficult to explain, but it's really easy to do when you transform it yourself. But basically in there, let me see if I could show it. Right there are some tabs, and right there are some grooves, and those tabs are going to fit into those grooves right there. So basically you're just going to take those tabs and fit them into those grooves, and it's a little difficult to do so at first, especially when I'm trying to explain it during a review, but there, it should fit in, and in some cases it'll pop in, but as long as you fit those tabs into those grooves, these two pieces should attach to one another, and that way it's not terribly loose like you saw before. And I believe they are attached, so now it's time to rotate the camera up. And finally, you're going to take the arms and break them in half. There's an awful lot of breaking in this figure, but without actually breaking anything. Basically, you're just going to take it and pop it off. There's a little tab right there that fits into a groove in there as well. And basically, just separate it, rotate it all the way around at the elbow, a little above the elbow, and take the hand and fold it out, like so. And then you just take the arm, rotate it forwards, press it down, bend it at the elbow so that you know that it's facing the right way, and there you go. Do the same thing on the other side. Let me see if I can show it off in better detail. I'm gonna break it off in half because there's that tab right there. I don't know if it's on camera. There it is. There's that tab right there that fits into that groove. Basically, you're just going to break it off, rotate it above the elbow, take the hand, flip it up, and just take the arm, put it into place. Like that. And there we have Jazz. Jazz has got to be probably my favorite figure out of the three of this first wave from the Fall of Cybertron line. Unlike Optimus Prime, he is proportioned well. He looks like a actually, he looks like his size. He all the proportions are right, from his arms to his head. His head is actually the right size, and his chest piece as well as his legs, everything is proportionate. The color scheme is retained with a little more of that metallic blue thrown in there, but it clashes very well along with the red Autobot symbol there in the front. And overall, his sculpt, his mold translates very well from his alternate mode to his robot mode, especially the head. I really like the head. I mean, look at that head. That head sculpt is really, really good. And along with that, he also comes with some really great light piping, if I could show it right there. It's a little difficult to do, but let me sit. There you go. Really good light piping. I really like it. Makes it look like an even stronger LED light than figures that usually come with actual LED lights. And he's also a little bit bigger. Here is Optimus Prime for some comparison. There he is right there. And if I could fit him in there, here is Shockwave. And height, he's a little taller than Shockwave. He's shorter than Optimus Prime, especially consider the smokestacks here on his shoulders. But in terms of width, he's a little bit bulkier. He's a lot wider. He takes up an awful lot more space than these two other guys. But because of that, again, you guys have heard in my other reviews, I really dislike the fact that they've shrunken down these figures. So for Jazz to be a little bit wider and a little bit bulkier, I really like that because it makes him a beefier deluxe figure and a figure that is worthy of being a deluxe class figure. So let's take these two guys out of the way. Much like the other figures, he's got pretty basic amount of articulation. He's got upper leg joint there. He's got a midway thigh swivel right there, but it's very, very tough. It's very sticky, and there's been times where I've tried to rotate it, and every time I try to rotate it, it does rotate, but this lower portion of the leg comes off. It's very easy to pop back in, but it is a bit of a problem. And he also has an upper bicep swivel right there, except this one is not as stiff. He can rotate the head at 360 degrees, but it's a little bit hindered from this back piece here. Oh, there you go. Can rotate all the way 360 degrees. I know it's not coming off very well because of my shadow, but yeah, he can rotate his head 360 degrees and pull off an exorcist. He's got an upper arm joint there that allows his arm to extend to the side as well as rotate vertically 360 degrees. And he's got an elbow joint. But, and I was trying my best to save this for the end here in terms of his articulation, but he has ratcheted joints in his elbow. Look at that. Ratcheted joints in his elbow and ratcheted joints in his knees. And if you couldn't already tell from the transformation, he's got a ratcheted joint here in his foot. However, it does not rotate forwards any further than that. It could rotate backwards, but that's of course because of the transformation. But he's got ratcheted joints. It's unbelievable. He's got no waist articulation, unfortunately, and other than that, he's, like I said, it's a pretty basic, decent amount of articulation in terms of quantity. But quality, you got some ratcheted joints here. So that can make for some really great poses if you get him in the right balance and the right pose. And if you couldn't already tell, he's got a ball joint here in the hand and each hand, so he's able to rotate the hand 360 degrees as well as move it inwards and outwards. And like I mentioned before, the only accessory that he comes with is his pistol that can fit into either one of his hands. My only complaint about him in this mode, if I were to look for one, would be that, like I showed you in the transformation, his chest piece is separated from this back piece here, and every now and then when I'm handling him, they come apart from those grooves that have those tabs lodged into them. So every now and then it comes apart, not easily, it takes a little bit of force, but sometimes those tabs manage to pop off their grooves and these two pieces start flailing about, and it gets kind of frustrating when, especially trying to do a video or just handling him. But it doesn't take long to pop them into one another and fix the figure. Overall, Jazz is probably my favorite figure out of this triple pack that first came out with the Fall of Cybertron figures. He is the proper size. He's still a little bit short in terms of height, but he's bulkier, he's beefier, and he's wider, so it makes him look more of an actual deluxe figure unlike the other figures. He's got great articulation, even though it's mostly due to the fact that he's got ratcheted joints rather than the quantity of articulation that he has. But those ratcheted joints are very top-notch, especially for a deluxe class figure. So seeing that on a deluxe class figure was very surprising, and I love it that they gave him that. I really dig the color scheme. I dig the mold in both his vehicle mode and his robot mode. Even though in his vehicle mode, I still can't get over that huge gap that he has in his rear. But he's got to poop somehow. So that's probably what it's there for. And on top of that, I just think that Jazz is a far, far better figure than the other two, and a significant improvement on Hasbro's part. I give Transformers Fall of Cybertron Jazz an 8.1 out of 10, which is a B-. For this figure, as well as anything else Transformers and anything else figure related, be sure to check out BigBadToyStore.com. They have my boy Jazz here, as well as the other two figures that I reviewed, as well as anything else from the Fall of Cybertron line, as well as the ongoing Generations line. BigBadToyStore.com, it's big, it's bad, it has it all. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Blah, 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 blah.